Well, a very warm welcome to Nelson Mandela Bay, Gqeberha, or Port Elizabeth as it was known. This is round 3 of the South African Endurance Series. I'm Gareth Burley, alongside me Stephen Koenig. We're in for a cracking weekend of racing, some chilly conditions, Steve.
No, it's going to be a huge amount of action on the track, lots of heat in the pits, but also everyone looking to the skies of what's going to happen, what is going to be the decision maker. And who's got the right setup by throwing darts at a wall. Yeah,
we'll of course bring you up to speed with all that's happening down here at Aldo Scribante. It is the 5 hours of Scribante, round 3 of 6 in the South African Endurance Series. Of course, 3 big rounds to come, 2 at Kyalami, and of course the old Formula 1 track in East London. Looking forward to going there, Steve.
Oh yes, that is definitely one of my home circuits. I'm super excited to it. But second time here, Aldo Scribante, and this race is a little bit more special. This is a tribute to the legend, Aldo Scribante.
Yeah, of course, the Aldo Scribante track is synonymous with racing in South Africa for so many years. Think about some of the great names that have come through this track, and none greater than, of course, the man that the track is named after, Aldo Scribante. He, of course, came to South Africa, he got the track going, then his son, Aldo Scribante, then his legacy continued. We sadly lost him recently, and this weekend is a bit of a tribute to him. He's got his son, Aldo, and Silvio Scribante here that'll be doing some hot laps, but Aldo is racing in the 1 hour endurance race, and we've got some special tributes happening throughout the race day for Chelsea as well. So there's that added little bit of speciality as well to the event.
It's going to just make it a little bit more, and means getting a win here makes it absolutely perfect. You have to go for it, because to walk away and say that you honored in the best way by giving it everything you got, 100%, that's going to be the best one. But it also does mean our championship, which we thought was all going to be, well, a little bit less dramatic. So far, for the first 2 rounds, it has been chaos after chaos, where guys have gone down to the final lap to get it all sorted out. Will this be the same for round 3?
Absolutely. I mean, Aldo Scribante is synonymous with close racing. It's a short track. It's a very spectator-friendly track, so you are right next to the action. I'm not sure there's many tracks that you can get so close to what's actually happening. And we know that from the free practice we've had on Thursday and Friday that they've sort of been tripping up over each other. We can thankfully say that maybe one car might be out, but otherwise all 24 are expected to get the 5 hour of Aldo Scribante underway tomorrow.
That's it. But we've also thrown a spanner in the works, because now we've changed up how the qualifying is going to be done. Usually you get your fastest driver, you go and send them out and get into first place. This time, everyone has to do their part.
Yeah, so some of the talk that was happening from the Swartkops round was, let's give every driver maybe an opportunity to put in a qualifying lap, and we'll take the best or the average time between the drivers. So some teams have arrived here with 2 drivers, some with 3 drivers. We look at the Adjust for Sleep Rico Bala Racing Nova that won in dramatic fashion in Swartkops. They've got Nick Adcock, Charles Visser, who set the lap record around Swartkops last time out, and they've thrown in Michael Steven. And so they're going to have to do 3 laps and then the average time. But now we've changed it again, because what we've seen from the early runs here on Friday is that unfortunately your C, D, and E class are just simply not quick enough for the A and B class. And so we think it's a little bit too dangerous. So in fact, the drivers have all met, the managers, and that's why what you see on the screen now is the backdraft roadsters, the class E. We've got some of our C and D classes, and they're going to be all going out together. And they've got 25 minutes to give each one of their drivers an opportunity to set their fastest lap. And if you've got 2 drivers or 3 drivers, they'll each get a chance in that 25 minutes, take their best 3 times from each driver, and that'll be the time that you set for qualifying. So that's what we're going to start with.
Yeah. This, if you work it out, is essentially an out lap, a hot lap, an in lap, and then you've got to get going, because you want to try and get that driver change. So if you've got 3 drivers, this is all about getting as much heat as you can when you get out and get into clear air as quick as possible, because you will battle, and the last thing you want to do is lose that 0.1 of a second just because you didn't make it out the pits in time.
Right, just before we go through the contenders, just a wider view there, you can see we've had overcast conditions for most of today. The sun's been out, so you can see the track is dry. Rain was forecast for today. That hasn't come through yet, or precipitated if you like. And there is rain forecast for 9 o'clock tonight, and we are expecting rain tomorrow, but anything can happen. So take the weather aside, it's certainly cooler out there. We've seen in the Super V race a little bit earlier on that the guys just struggle to get their tyres up to temperature. So, Steve, why don't you run us through the classes that we're talking about now? C, D, and E, and who are the contenders? Of course, here's one that we're familiar with, the 262, the Pesty Racing that had a fantastic outing, dramatic outing in Swartkops. One to keep an eye out for.
So up front we got our backdraft roadsters. That is the Pesty Racing. You can go and see it's almost got that Cobra-ish type shape, but that is a backdraft roadster, part of our national V8 Roadster Championship, and that is being led out by the People Group and Adept. And you'll notice they have big pandas all over the car, the number 23. Second to that you'll have the backdraft racing of Chaba Masheko and Dan Hirsch. They're falling a little bit back. But we also do have
the BMW there.
Our Class D.
Yeah, so
having a bit of fun now.
Yeah, so in Class C, in fact, the Coastal Engineering Supplies BMW that you see there, you'll see on your screen they're setting the fastest lap. Well, that's because they're in a different class here. They're up against the VW Calyx with Kari Hill and Yuri Swart. We haven't seen them out yet on track, but that's the battle that's happening in Class C. That BMW that you see there, and then the VW. Now, we were chatting to Kari a little bit earlier on. They were having some misfiring problems in the car. Might not actually see them come out in qualifying, so there was even talk that they might not even come out at all, so we're going to keep an eye on that. So that's the BMW in Class C, the 76. Just to confirm and just to help you understand for those viewing from around the world that BMW is not racing against that. There we saw the Calyx going through ahead, but these backdraft roadsters, they're in Class E, they're in their own national championship, so you'll see them all battling against each other in their own titles. So here comes the Pesty Racing now, coming through for another lap. Let's see what we can pull through on the times now.
Well, he went and did a 109.6 on his previous lap, so can he improve that to put himself into first place? But I mean, just take a look at Hanetas in the BMW going and doing a 109.2 as his quickest lap time, 109.265, and Pretorius was only able to do a 109.4, so very, very close in lap times. Despite being two different classes,
yeah.
You still have a little bit of a weight coming in. That E36 BMW is still quite heavy compared to the V8 Roadsters, where they've got monumental power underneath them. They've got the big V8 that drags them along down the straights, which is more beneficial, but in turn, they do become very pointy.
Yeah, we'll of course go through the track as well. They make their way now to the hairpin up at the top of the track. Then it's the big left sweep towards the final corner, which has been known as Dunlop, before heading into the main straight. So one of the spectator-friendly spots here at Aldo Scribante. You can just see such stunning viewing spots for the fans. The BMW looks like he's set his best time. Looks like he might be slowing down a little bit. Kari Hill goes quickest there now. Is that right? The 81 now, setting a lap time.
A 107.046, so not hanging around. But remember, they have to get every single one of their drivers,
there we go,
whether they've got 2 or 3 in the car, each have to do a lap.
Now, it's just impressive from Kari, because they've been struggling with that car all day. They've hardly had any lap time. She climbs into it and straight away a 107, which is mighty impressive from the young driver.
Driven in anger, that is for certain. If it's going to let go, it's going to get let go in spectacular fashion. But after she had a huge amount of fun a little bit earlier on Friday, going and driving in Dad's GT3 car, she's looking to go and power her way through with Yuri Piswat.
Yeah, in screen now, Lanika Martins, they're just going through. That was towards the hairpin, and one of our 2 lady drivers in the field. Right, here's that VW mentioned, Kari Hill, and this time out to 106.07 now, even faster. Kara really warming up, and she said that car is fast around here, maybe even a bit too fast out of the corner. So she was talking about how she's been so hungry to, in fact, we must just tell her that she's got an Aston Martin here this weekend that she's been driving on the track. So I can understand why she's hungry to get going, because she's got the need for speed.
But the car's nickname of Hero is definitely showing what it can do, being the hero that everyone deserves. That 106 being the quick lap time that they're going to keep trying to push themselves that little bit harder. But Bono Pretorius puts himself into second place with a 109.2, which means he's the fastest V8 Roadster that's currently out on track. So going and stepping up the game a little bit more, just to get that little bit more pace underneath them, ahead of Lonica Martins, who is now
not far off.
Lonica is actually teaming up with a new driver of the likes of Buerta Okam, who has come into the series and recently got his national license to come racing, but looks like Kari Hill may want to pull in the pits, because she was going to switch out to Yuri Swart, and keeping it tight.
No, she looks like she's giving it one more go. Yeah, just one more lap there for Cara Hill. This is, of course, in Class C. So we've got Class C at the moment, the BMW and this Calyx VW. Class D has got the Corridus VW. We haven't seen the 111 out yet. And then we've got the big field of 9 backdraft roadsters with their open top in the field. So we've seen at the moment there that it is Warren Pretorius in the Pesty Racing number 262 that's quickest at the moment, but that might be impressive for now. But Warren Pretorius still needs to get in that car and set a time to confirm where they will be on the starting grid.
It's going to be a hard push, but Cara looking to make up some time. Remember, going back to Swartkorp's Hero did not finish the race. This time they are making dead sure that the car is going to cross the line. And Pesty Racing, who is currently running in 2nd place, is one of the cars that have been battling all weekend to get themselves sorted. It looks like they've sorted all the gremlins out of the car and pushing themselves a little bit further. Driver changes are starting to happen though.
Yeah, number 42 now. So Dan Hirsch and Trevor Graham in the yellow backdraft racing. They're going to swap drivers now. So just to remind you, we've got a 25-minute session. Within that time, each driver has to set their fastest lap time, and then it's going to be taking the average of those 2 times that are going to determine where you start on the grid. Now, how important is your starting position on the grid for 5 hours of Aldo Scribante?
It's a make or break, to be honest, because if you think about it, if you can start higher up through the field, it means that you're avoiding a lot of the traffic. If you're at the back, you're going to have to claw your way through traffic. And with Aldo Scribante, it's very difficult, especially when you get into the middle, where you have to play a little bit of follow the leader. You've got to just get that little bit of respect. So to be a little bit higher than your competition means there's a little bit more space and less fighting early goings and less chance of running into problems. Yeah,
let's just follow Cara around the track here. Gives us our viewers just a chance. That goes through the hangar then, very fast corner, just a little tap off the brakes before going into the hairpin. Right, here's our championship leader. What round they had out at Swartkorps. They're doing a driver change now. That is the 23, the current championship leader, Philip Meyer, Dean Wilson, Mark Harvey, 3 drivers. So they're going to need 3 changes in this qualifying session.
And it is pressure for the team because not only are they overall champions, they index and performance champions and class champion.
Yeah.
So they're fighting for the championship in that, which was originally held by the Morgenrud family. So they're looking to go and take the new crown for the V8 Roadster National Championship. But when you're currently leading 3 different championships, you want to make sure that you're out in the front of the pack ahead of everyone else.
Just look at the team here. It's all very relaxed out there. Huh? You're just going to go for a little spin around Aldo Scribante here. Yeah, we come and have a little seat here, climbing over the top. And that's how they're getting to the backdraft roadster.
Well, have you ever seen a panda look stressed?
The 23 current championship leader. And I must say, we've had such an enjoyable season so far with these. This is the first national championship for our backdraft V8 Roadsters, and they are one of the nicest cars to come and spectate on. They're loud, they're noisy, and just remember, if we get rain coming up, you can see there's no roof there. That's going to be open cockpit and for some very intriguing racing. And of course, because these cars are built for endurance, they're right there till the end. And so they're very much contenders even for overall race victories.
Well, that's it. It's all about getting the tortoise and the hare situation. It doesn't have to be the fastest, but it's also one of the most competitive classes that you can be in because all the cars are exactly the same. There's no modifications. You can only do a little bit of work on your camber, try and do a little bit of setup changes, but ultimately they're the same machine. And now they're going to have to push themselves a little bit more the box.
Yeah, second drive. Just a quick look. You can see in the distance there some of the hills in the background of Nelson Mandela Bay. And I've been saying I'm a local here. If you can't see those hills, then you know the rain's coming for the direction of wind that we've got today. So you can see it seems to be holding off, which means dry qualifying for all of our drivers. That's what we were hoping for. Just to mention that we are going to have a mandatory night practice tonight for each of the teams. That's not going to be with us on live streaming, but it's going to give them a chance to familiarize themselves with the conditions. Remember, tomorrow we start at 4 p.m. It's already getting dark at that time, and we're finishing under the floodlights here at Aldo Scribante.
Your brake markers tend to disappear. Everything disappears. Nighttime is no joke, so everyone just soaking up the last little bit of light for their qualifying, but the pressure is still mounted on every single one of these drivers. And now we're going to start looking at who's the averages, who's going to be able to get themselves up. So Now let's see who the teams are that are closer together.
Nice to see some spectators on the side of the track there. So here we go. This is through the sweep, one of the favourite spots to watch. You can see we broke away there, but that then takes you into the final corner, and important to get your braking spots correct there.
Okay,
so here we go. Let's just quickly follow here. This is now into the final corner, the Dunlop. It's quite a long right turn. You want to find where to get on the power. If you get on too quickly, you can quickly lose it. But here we go, down the main straight. Let's see if we can stay with the car and hopefully just run through the track then for our online viewers. All right, so here we go, down the main straight. For these cars, are going to get well over 200 k's per hour. Finding you can see the braking markers on the side. You don't want to go over the track, go off the track here, because this bank over here, you don't see it maybe on the camera, but it actually falls down, and it's really awkward to get. Right, here's important now. Through the S's, a lot of the drivers speak about being the most difficult part on the track. It's a hard right. Then you look for where you can flick the weight of the car onto the left. Spectators will be poured along the side here. Now it's flat out into the hangar. So you take a little left. You'll see now it'll be just a little lift, maybe just touch the brakes. Looks like that's almost flat out through there. Now there's a great overtaking opportunity, perhaps the best overtaking through the hangar. Right, here we go, into on the inside. This is going to be a spot for overtaking. Now there's a little drop down the hill through the sweep. You can see it's on this level. You don't quite see it there, but there's a little drop onto the sweep now. This is flat out for these cars. If you lose your grip here, you can quickly end up in the tire barrier. They go over a bridge here. You don't know this from watching, but there's a little bridge that you've got to go over. That's how we get to the inside of the track. Oh, make your braking markers. Here's the long final corner then, the Dunlop. Also a great overtaking opportunity. And if you miss your point of putting on the acceleration, you can lose your... You can quickly get a slipstream from a car who struggled down the main straight. And that's a lap of Aldo Scribante here in Nelson Mandela Bay.
And that is Dan Hirsch going and putting in a lap time, trying to get a little bit more underneath his belt and hoping that he can keep the momentum going after getting the car handed over to him. And radioing in of, was that a good lap time? A 111.6 as his lap time, and then you've got Rodriguez right behind him doing a 119.2, so a little bit slow, a little bit slower on his out lap.
What's going on here now? Let's see if we can find out. Looks like they...
Monica's busy talking to Brian Martin by the looks of it, so...
There's Nadine trying to see what's happening down in the pits. We'll see if we can find out what all the excitement is. But just to mention the 111 that you mentioned there now, that's the VW running in the D class. Here's our championship leader, the 23, the Purple Panda, that is now heading down through the hangar. So there'll be different paces here. Some of them will be, of course, starting to build up their pace. Remember, they've got a short little window now where they've got to set their best lap. And some of the teams have got 3 drivers will have a final session as well. So yeah, some cars up at full speed, others now just building up, and it's still Arfan Heerden who is leading the way.
I do think that the class, the V8 Roadsters, are going to be closer in times, especially with the People Group and Adams. They have gone and held the Index Performance of Championship currently for 2024, which means their drivers are all closer in times from off the bat. Now this is going to favor their times in qualifying because it works on averages. So let's see how it's going to work out.
Yeah, they come now, the backdraft Roadsters down the main straight, and see if we can cross down to Nadine to see if we can find out what's happening there. It's a big group of people gathering around. Maybe we've got an incident. Nadine, can you give us an update? What's happening down in the pits?
I'm here with Lonica Martins, one of the backdraft drivers, and she doesn't look like she's having a very good day. Lonica, how was qualifying for you?
Yeah, so first of all, I didn't have a lot of practice runs. We had quite a few problems with the new car, or the old car, but we're racing it, so it's new for us. But I managed to qualify second. On my quick lap, I had a bit of a problem with one of my rivalries that we always have a bit of a dice. So it just maybe got a bit in the way, and I lost the quick lap. Otherwise, that would have been P1 by far, but that's racing. 5 hours is a long way.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Well, we wish you everything of the best and hope to see a smile on that face as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's go back to commentary.
Great to see Lonica Martins happy there. So that was what the commotion was about. She was disappointed she didn't get the quickest lap that she wanted. It just shows you how competitive they are, still with 5 hours of racing to come tomorrow afternoon.
That fighting spirit, and now she is relying purely on her teammate Boto Okamp, who is currently running in 8th position with a 1:13.4 as his quickest lap time. So he needs to try and get that a little bit closer to hers to be able to put in for a fight. But bear in mind, He's new to the series, new to the car, trying to battle it out. Richard van Heerden currently leading out the top. There's the number 31 car that is going and walking away from a lot of the competition, doing a 109.2. Dean Wilson, who we see currently out on track, the number 23, people and Adept Group doing a 109.6. So getting a little bit closer there.
Yeah.
And going down the field, everyone only able to get into those 110s and 111s. So it is getting broken up quite a bit, but traffic is going to be a little bit more of a concern.
22 seconds left in this qualifying session. You might be saying, where's the Calyx? Where's the BMW? Well, of course, there are 3 sessions, so with 2 drivers, we'll see them coming up in the final session. So they're making the most of this middle session now just to prep, get ready, making a change. You can see the Calyx waiting at the end of the pits. But here we go. This is coming towards the end of the session, and it's Dean Wilson. There we go. No surprise to see the 23 putting it fastest in this session. So it looks like trying to get maybe one more lap in. So just a few less cars in this second qualifying. We know that basically everyone will be out in the third because you've got to at least have 2 of your drivers qualifying.
Oh, Richard van Heerden going and denying that fact.
There we go.
He puts a 109.1 to just go and break it up. And a little bit of a rivalry in that, but remember, this works on the average. So you go and take the fastest lap time of each of the drivers and then divide it by the number of drivers that are within the team. That brings me to the next one. How many drivers are going to be in the final run? Because we've got essentially only who's got 3 drivers in the next run, or in the case of the Calyx machine, they're going to be having that little bit of time off. Maybe the grid's a little bit smaller, a little bit more space, or maybe everyone else had the same idea.
Right, checker flags out. You can see one of the backdraft roadsters with his hand up. He's actually diving into the pits there. It's an interesting entrance to the pits here at Scribante because you've really got to slow down. There's a sort of like a little S-kink. There's sometimes spectators there. The marshals are right close by, so it's a really slow down to come into the pits, which is going to be very interesting with this fast cars coming down the main straight in the 5 hours race.
Well, they have to go and slow it right down to 40 kilometers an hour,
40,
and that is going to be testing the brakes of all these vehicles. You've got to be wide awake, especially when it gets a little bit darker.
Yeah. So also I want to mention here that because we've now changed the qualifying format, we're all adjusting a little bit now to this new format. So it'll give us some time now, but we've got one more session to come. Then there'll be a 5-minute break. We'll run through, if we can, the results from this first qualifying. This is for Class C, D, and E. So we'll get some clarity on that in this next session. Then it's a 5-minute break. Then we bring out the big boys, Class A and Class B. We've got 8 super fast cars in Class A and 3 just as quick cars in Class B. So we're going to have 11 monsters on the track. Plus Aldo Scribante, who's doing the 1-hour dash, part of the memorial race this weekend, it's celebration. He'll be there. So it's going to be 12 cars on the in the final qualifying session. Let me just remind you, for race fans around the world, we've got the Stradale Motorsport Mercedes is here, first race for the season. We've got the beautiful BBR Racing Porsche, winner of the opening round. We've got the Nova, which won round 2 out at Zwartkops. We've got the Inter-Africa Lamborghini Hurricane, who have had such ups and downs so far this season. The Primogen Audi, who came so close to winning in the opening round at Red Star and then had disappointment at Zwartkops. We've got the Backdraft Racing Slingshot, which always has drama. They've had more drama today. We'll tell you about that later on. The MJR Audi is here as well with Maurice Jackson and Joseph Ellery. And then we've got a very special Toyota. Well, it's a Lexus body with the Toyota V8 engine racing for Sphere Motorsport in Class A. In Class B, we've got the Backdraft number 3. A very cute little hardtop pink Backdraft racing car. We've got the Bucket List Racing Audi that went off in free practice. Ryan Nyka, unfortunately, brakes failing out at the hip and going straight into the barrier. And then we've got the G&H Transport Audi R8 as well. Aldo Scribante then in the Lamborghini as well. So, what a lineup we have. You're not going to want to go anywhere. 12 cars qualifying, looking for the best starting position in really unknown conditions for tomorrow afternoon. That's still to come. But here we go. This is the final session now for qualifying. Just on 6 minutes to go here to decide who's going to be on pole in Class C, D, and of course Class E, the Backdraft Roadsters. 2 on the screen. You can see right now they're just coming out the pits, finding position. You can see that 23 wants to get past. He wants to be in front.
Well, the time to go for Mark Harvey did a 110 107.1, and he was the first driver out. That put him 7th currently. Then you have got his teammate that went out for drive 2, was putting in some really good lap times. Dean Wilson was in 2nd place on the last one, doing a 109.2. So already there's a break up in time. And now it's all sitting on the 3rd driver. But it's the same as Richard van Heerden. He was out in the 31 car, put in the fastest lap time, but his teammate wasn't able to get that. For the same as Cara Hill, she managed to do a 106.0. Now Yuri has to get the same time, if not a little bit better.
All right, well, Yuri Swart is out in the Calyx, but our eyes are on the 23 there, going through the championship leader, and this then coming in the number 10. They got the red number because they are the current champions. So from last year, although it wasn't an official championship, they won last year's championship in the number 10.
Yeah, it wasn't a national championship.
National championship.
It wasn't a national championship, but it was still a championship that was recognized by Motorsport South Africa. This time, though, going and wearing the crown, having to try and improve. We also had
getting in the way.
A little bit of a late moment under braking.
Oh, and that's naughty from Corridors, the 111, because they're not on a hot lap. They needed to actually get out the way because these roadsters here, the 23, was on a hot lap and had to sort of swerve out the way and not taking the ideal racing line. Yeah, they go through the sweep now. This is a stunning part of the track to watch. Park your car there. You see the cars coming at full speed. Look for the braking spot. You can see the markers on the side. And then this long right turn. Wait for the right moment. Wait before you put down the gas. And then you throw it down into the main straight.
It's got a very late apex
Yeah,
on the way
very
out.
late.
And apparently also with the bumper, goes and unsettles even the V8 Roadsters, where they come out and they say the steering just lightens up underneath them and you feel like the rear wants to step out underneath you, so you can be wide awake just in case. But everyone having to push themselves a little bit harder. Looking at the lap times though, Yuri Swart, a 106.04,
The Calyx,
which is
good.
faster than Cara Hill, so they're going to be happy with it. Number 23 though, a 110.9, so still a little bit up there, closer to their first driver, not quite to their second driver.
Right through the hangar, then back out to the top of the track there. This is the hairpin. Look for your braking spot. We'll see lots of overtaking through the 5 hours of Scribante. You can get it wrong out of this corner. You can put down the gas too quickly and actually lose the back end. You go down this little hill and then full throttle through the sweep. And there we go to the final corner. Dunlop now looking for your braking point. The 23 looking to go even quicker now with just on 3 minutes to go here in the final qualifying session. Remember, the 81 Yuri Swart's Calyx is in a different class, looking to finish ahead of the BMW in Class C. They are the current championship leader. They've had lots of problems with that car as the 23 comes through now. So, right, let's see what we can pick up here. Race times now from our top riders. Drivers as they come through there. There's the 23 and Yuri Swart just does a 105.8. Philip Mayer going through there in a 110. And why is the Pesty Racing not out?
No, that is the Fabian Lancer car that is parked off on the side there. So they've gone out for driver 1, driver 2 instead of driver 3. So that's going to be helpful. But we do see our couple of cars, that is our Class B and our Class A's getting ready to go out. This is the...
Okay, they're just pulling it out here to put it in place. They're not actually going to be competing right now. They're going to come up in the next session. But interesting to see that Roadster, the orange one just ahead of them, that they're not out at the moment. So yeah, you can see, look at these are the contenders. There's the Slingshot 2.0. They've had an incredible team. We've got so many stories to tell you. Not only about the troubles they've had today, but about that rear wing. That rear wing is going to go down as one of the legendary stories of South African motorsport, because at the last round, that car there has had I mean, it's hard to can't believe the stories that we're talking about here, but they towed that car from Durban, I think it was, up to Swartkops, and they kept the rear wing on it, but because that rear wing does so much downforce, it was actually slowing them down and causing some problems for them towing, so they removed the rear wing, arrived to the track how many minutes before qualifying?
I would say about less than 10 minutes, but I do want to go and really throw a spanner in the works of your story there, because that's a brand new rear body. So that's not the same rear as what you saw at Swartkops as well, because they've just modified it.
Yeah, but then of course they started, because they were so late, because they had to remove the rear wing, they arrived at qualifying, didn't have time to put it on, so they qualified without a rear wing. And at one point were even potentially in the race victory contention in the event, you know, so just amazing. Anyway, let's come back to Class E. Yeah, this is the 23, still putting in some stunning times and looking really good, maybe to take the pole in the Class E, the V8 Roadster Championship.
Well, looking at the lap times though, got it at 109.8, so a little bit closer to driver 2 and a little bit further away from driver 1. So the people Adapt group is really trying to dial in, and they currently leading the index of performance for the entire series. So having the drivers a bit closer, this works out. This new style of qualifying works out, but the rear not working out there.
Nah, I saw the smile through the helmet there. He was loving it, absolutely loving it, putting it through there. Why not? He's already put in a quick time and just enjoying being out at this iconic racetrack. So you see on our timing there, Yuri Swart, of course, he's in Class C. The Kalex VW comfortably ahead, and should be. We've got Meyer then, the number 23 that you see on screen there, the fastest in this session. What I am looking for is where is the BMW. I didn't recall seeing a second session, although we didn't see all of the cars on the screen. But it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out in Class C, D, and E. But here comes the 23 around for one more time. Let's see if we can just improve on his time of 109.8. Here he comes through the finish line now. Let's see what he picks up.
And that would be a 110.6. So
110.6,
not
okay.
able to improve it with a bit of a tank slapper. Fully understandable.
Yeah.
Rather go and just take a deep breath. It got a little bit close there. Rear tires need a bit of work, but ultimately some good lap times for them. Very close between the drivers. But that does also leave the question of, like Yuri Swart, how much of a gap has he put over Kari's Hill? And that will be a calculated average that may move them a little bit further down the field than planned. So it's not about how fast you can get out on the circuit. It's now working as a team to set that average lap time.
Right, so if you're just joining us, that is the qualifying session done and dusted now for Class C, D, and E. E-Class, of course, all these open-top backdraft roadsters. The teams that had 3 drivers had to participate in each of the 3 sessions, 2 driver teams in any of the 3 sessions, some of them taking the first and second, some of them taking the first and the third. Now, there's lots of calculations going on here and trying to see who's going to be on pole. Right, here we go. Okay, so talk us through this here. This is now the 3 teams together, and it looks like, no surprise there, Yuri Swart and Kari Hill are the quickest in the Class C. That's the Kalex VW, but there we go, number 23 now in second place. That's going to be the 23 backdraft roadster. That's going to be the quickest in Class E.
Now that's going to be the people group, and Adapt has put him himself in second. Then you've got Mark Owens and Naidu.
The 169 is going to be then in second place. Then CJ Blackman, who is the current champion from last season. They're going to be starting third in class, fourth. You can see, remember that the number 1 car is in a separate class here. And then Campos, Rodriguez, and Martins, they are in the 111 car, finishing in Class D. All right, so there we go. Those are our provisional results then. Right, here we go.
Now it's time for the big cars. Now it's time for the big screamers. And Aldo Scribante being a little bit flat, got some hills in the horizon, is about to have the swan song of V8s and V10s howling in the distance. This is going to be absolutely just mad. This is awesome.
So just to remind you, we've changed the qualifying partly because Stuart White went out just in the last free practice and he did just on 56 seconds, a 56.9. Now that's not a lap, it would break the lap record, but because it was not an official running, it's not the lap record. So that sort of realized, hang on, these guys are doing 56, 57s. These we've just seen now doing 19s, 110s. That's not going to be safe out there to set a qualifying lap. And so that's why they've split it. Just interestingly, coming out here is the Lexus with a V8 Toyota in it. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later on. They're a little bit nervous here because they're not as quick perhaps as some of the other cars. This is a first outing for them, so it's going to be interesting to see. There we can see Aldo Scribante's Lamborghini just coming out in the background, but certainly getting dark outside.
Lights are coming ablaze, and this is going to change things up. But remember, they've got a little bit more rubber down, so we're going to expect these cars to get a little bit faster. A couple of the cars I had a chat to, like the Stradale team that are racing in the Mercedes AMG GT3, going and saying they do have a little bit in the pocket to get themselves further up through the field as they come past, but we cannot count out the Norman Nova NP02 LMP car that is going around. Absolutely stunning vehicle.
Yeah.
Their concern is coming down to whether the conditions change in terms of rain.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's so much to talk about here regarding these cars and the balance of power and, you know, how do we make it fair? That's the Nova that won last time out in Swartkops in dramatic fashion, putting it in the sand with just 3 laps to go. And then somehow they pulled it out and still went on to win the race. They missed the opening round, so the championship is very open. But here we go. It's a Nova coming through now with the Mercedes. And it's Andre Neveling that's in the Stradale Motorsport Mercedes now, and setting the first of the flying laps. So we'll keep an eye on this. Here we got the first of 3 sessions coming up for Class A and B.
It's going to be a proper chase down all the way through, and ready, trying to put the hammer down. 56 has been shown, can be done, but who's going to be able to put in the first sub 1 minute? As Arnold Neveling giving it absolute horns, comes across the line, and Charles Visser is chasing him down. So the 2 youngsters having a good go. 56-4.
No way. 56-4 from Charles Visser. First time out.
Arnold Neveling at 57-2.
Wow.
And looked like doing a 59.1. So Charles Visser's not hanging around, but using a little bit of the aero, the slipstream effect to come into play. And again, 56.4, which is just tremendous. Remember, to get the fastest lap time, to hold the record, you have to do it in a race. But in qualifying, they've just blown it out of the water.
Yeah, just to mention weather conditions. It's overcast, there's a lot of cloud about, but there is a bit of a wind, and it's at their back coming down the main straight, which is going to make the speed up a little bit, and the braking into the first corner just a little bit more tricky. So here we go now. The Nova comes through once again. Has he gone even quicker? Let's have a look. At 56.4 last time out. He comes flying through now the finish line. We'll keep an eye on that time. It's a 57 point.
That's a 59.2.
It's a 59.2. So now we're starting to see the traffic also play a bit of a role for these cars. Remember, we're looking for 1 flying lap with 3 minutes 47 seconds to go.
That's the thing. You've got 1 lap of clear air. If you're the first car out, you're fine. Means you can get that 1 hot lap. If you're the 3rd car or 4th car, you're pretty much knackered. So you've either got to get a little bit of spacing between yourself and everyone ahead of you, but then you can impede the cars behind you. So it's a bit of a waiting game here.
Yeah, interesting from the Nova here, because he's actually got a bit of clear track in front of him, because he's following the Mercedes, who's actually like sort of braking forth the ice and coming through, and other cars are moving out the way. So I think it's clever from Charles Visser. Yeah, he's giving himself a prime position. You can see him actually closing up, and he might actually overtake him here as we come through for another lap.
I think he's just absolutely
56.3 now. 56.3.
So now getting quicker and quicker, and utilizing that slipstream all the way through, much to the aggravation of Arnold Neveling, who is actually helping him through it.
But look who's on 3rd. Aldo Scribante, who's doing the 1 hour dash, has just done a sub 1 minute at 59.0. Listen, he knows this track so well. They spent so much time here on this track, so no surprise that he's right up there, but that is a stunning time. Polile Lekhatla then is under the 1 minute mark, 59.1 in 4th position. We know we've got the fastest Stuart White still to come.
And Paul Hill also putting in a 59.
Under a minute, 59.9 for Paul. Well done. Oh, and he's off.
That is Paul Hill pushing it that little bit too far, unfortunately.
And I think that's the final corner, perhaps.
So
no, well, actually, I'm not sure yet. Now we'll have a look there to see if we can find out where that is on track. And with just 2 minutes left, this is the problem with having such a short session. Of course, you run the danger then of having sort of yellow flags coming out and then slowing down. You've got to get your lap in quickly before something happens.
This, unfortunately, doesn't bode well for Arnold Neveling, and he is now going and slowing up, going to get into the pits.
But that's not, that's too slow. Something else has gone on there. Looks like electronic, perhaps, with the brakes. Doesn't look like he's got drive. He's actually freewheeling.
Fuel pressure. I'm thinking maybe when they say you need 3.4 to get the lap, and you do that 3.5, that's the moment that comes in. So unfortunately, we'll be stopping the car on the
Double
circuit.
waved yellows here. So this.
It's end of qualifying for everyone. There's no ways you can push it any further because yellow flag comes out. You have to slow down. You can't keep a fast pace. And it looks like everyone's taking a dive in towards pits.
Yeah, all right, so here we go. Around the last corner for Molile. Is he going to put it flat? No, he looks like he's going to be slowing down. The Nova looks like he's going to try and get one more lap in, but I'm not sure that's really going to be wise there from Charles Visser. He's already got the fastest lap here at a 56.3. And we've got double waved yellows out there, so I'm not sure that that's necessarily a wise move. Right, let's see if we can find out what's happened with Paul Hill and whether he's actually got going again and whether we've got the Stradale Motorsport Merc up and going or whether he's stopped on the main straight.
It must be so frustrating as a driver if you think that you still had one more lap left in the tank that you can give it a push, and then suddenly having yellow flags out there, having
double waved yellows, Okay, so what's quite important here is Aldo Scribante, of course, is a solo driver, so he's going to be starting with his own time. He's not going to go out again, where we've got these rest of these teams that are going to need to put their second and third drivers in. So here comes a driver change. Now Stuart White's going to climb into the Lamborghini, and this is the stunning Lamborghini Hurricane that's had an up and down season so far. Disappointing, they missed the first round, and last time out they were leading, they had problems with the car, and then finished in second and almost won the race with dramatic fashion. But we'll get to that. We've lots to talk about tomorrow. But here's the slingshot, where we're sitting now with Mike McLaughlin in 7th position, not able to break the 1 minute mark.
Well, brand new body on that car. Well, the rear is a brand new design to try and get some low pressure off of the back of the car underneath the wing, give it a little bit more downforce. Unfortunately, this time around, can't quite test it out, and having to just work his way through.
All right, there we go. Paul Hill's got going again. He's going to crawl back into the pits. No need to put your indicator on, Paul. And looks like the Stradale Motorsport Mercedes there is still stuck.
Honestly, I have to say thank you to drivers that do that. If you do have the opportunity to do it.
For an indicator.
Because as a car that's catching up, now you know where the guy's going to go. You're not playing a bit of a guessing game of, are you going left, are you going right, are you going to challenge me? It's all sorted.
All right, this is what I've been looking forward to. Sorry, Steve. We can see Nick Adcock outside the car there.
Oh, they're checking under the diffuser. They were working on it a little bit earlier where they took the rear diffuser off. So
there comes the Toyota pass. But just quickly coming back to, you can see Nick Adcock standing by the side of the Nova. Here's the BBR Porsche Racing that won the opening round of the year out at Red Star. They're going to do a driver change. They've got 3 drivers. So that means in that Nova that just went past, Michael Stevens going to be at the wheel there. We saw Nick Adcock on the side. Charles Visser has already gone through. And this is something we're looking forward to. Who's going to be quicker, Michael Stevens or Charles Visser? They are quick boys. They're some of the fastest we've ever had here in South Africa.
Yeah, Henk Latergan now out of the car, and it looks like that might be Tavares who's climbing in and going to be having a bit of fun out there. Currently running in 6th position for the top running order, right behind Paul Hill.
Yeah, this is Ant Blunden, the 5111 in Class B, the G&H Transport Audi. And they're coming through. They've got 3 drivers, so they are now going to pass over. They're currently running in 10th position, a 106 last time out. So we might have a bit of a delay here now to see what's happening with the Stradale. They're going to want to tow that car away there quickly. As you can see, 7 minutes on the clock. Andre Neveling looking under the car.
That's been one of the top running cars this weekend, going and fighting their way through, putting in some of the fastest lap times prior to Stuart White giving it horns, and prior to Charles Visser also giving it everything he's got. So now we've got one of the top runners having to come off the gas.
Right, so we're not sure who's going to go in there. Probably going to be Joseph Ellerine going in now.
It is Joseph with the purple.
Yeah, and Maurice Jackson. Heartache for them out at Swartkops last time out because they arrived at the track and unfortunately went off, had a problem with the car and actually couldn't compete. So it's fantastic to see them here. And there we've got that second Audi that is now, of course, in Class B that has been out on the track.
Well, Joseph Ellerine actually coming back from Germany, had an 8-hour flight, comes to have a bit of fun. Did say the drivers that went and leaned on him and he wanted to lean back, but he was told by Marius, listen, don't scratch the car. Let's just get this thing all the way through. But Marius going and giving a little bit of word of advice of how the track is going. And Blunden going and having himself
beautiful.
a huge amount of fun. A huge Porsche fan, and I actually asked him, I said, what's the difference between climbing into a Cup car and a GT4 car? He says, just the balance. The balance of how the car performs, and also being able to trust it a little bit more with the traction control, the ABS. It's a lot more welcoming compared to a Cup car, which, well, doesn't have all those luxuries.
Are they towing?
They're towing it.
Right, so what does this mean now? This means that theoretically, if they get that car back into the pits and they find it's something small, that means then that Charles Orangis could actually participate in the third qualifying session. But if they don't, we are going to see, right, what's the news coming through?
So the car that came off at Swartkops was Ryan Nyker in the car into a turn 1.
Of course, with Maurice Jackson's car.
So new car, having a little bit of fun. Unfortunately, landed up in the kitty litter, and a little bit earlier in free practice 5, landed up on top of the tires. They were doing some frantic work there. I do want to point out that Stradale needs to get this car going in an absolute hurry because of one thing. They've got their drivers needing to get out as quick as they can and in clear air. Otherwise, they are going to be trapped behind even the GT4s.
Right, just keep an eye on that horizon there. That's looking a bit more mistier than what we've seen so far today. So just keep an eye on that. That's looking a little bit more misty. We do have rain forecast for later today, but I've not seen that the horizon as misty as that so far today. So we keep an eye on the conditions, which may be changing. The drivers have actually been quite keen for a bit of rain, just to have some time in the rain, knowing that that's sort of forecast for tomorrow.
Well, they did set the cars up for it. I'm going to take you back to the Norman Nova, the Just for Sleep. They have done a rain setup, not a hybrid setup, not to handle the dry, but just pure onto the rain. Same as the Slingshot 2.0. They also changed their spring rates to handle the wet. So in the dry conditions, they're not getting optimal performance. Well, I say that, and Charles Visser did put himself at the top of the charts, but it's not optimal just as yet.
Yeah, fantastic from the team. Unbelievable stuff. So with maybe some inclement weather, the guys will be super keen to get out there. As mentioned, the Stradale Motorsport Mercedes is in the pits. We'll see if we can find out what's happening down there. But they do have one more session, potentially the third session, to still get a lap time. Otherwise, it's going to be starting at the back of the field for them in the A-class. Very competitive. Right, there it goes, back into the pits.
And the team are going to be working frantically. And if you ever want to see a driver get his arms into it, watch on Neverling. He's going to grab a couple of the spanners and also get it leaning into the work. But with Michael Steven now out in the Norman Nova, the Just for Sleep, he's going to be racing in anger. But you also got Hein Latergan in the number 5 992 Porsche Cup car, which is having a huge amount of fun. Goes on the dirt a little bit, trying to get a little bit closer to his son Henk Latergan. So Hein now hoping that he can try move his way up through the order and keep as close as he can. Remember, it works on the average of each of the drivers. So if you've got 3 drivers, average out the 3 times between you. And if it's 2 drivers, same principle. But it can also be a double-edged blade.
Yeah. Right, there seems to be lots of asking questions. Not many people working on the car at the moment. Lots of discussion going on. Just to mention, though, out on the track, we do have Michael Steven. We're keeping an eye on him. He did a 56.3 first time out. And it's Stuart White. I was going to say, Stuart White is also on the track. We're talking about Charles Visser and Michael Steven, but Stuart White is one that did a 56.9 earlier. He's already up to a 56.3. And I didn't actually write it down. What was Charles Visser's time from a bit earlier today?
So Charles Visser managed, and this is from qualifying, managed to get a 56.332.
Okay, 56.332.
So that's the go for, and Stuart White did a 56.337.
All right, all to play for. Look at the horizon there. I told you it's looking a bit different, so it looks like we might have some weather coming in, but looks like we might get this session dry with one more of the qualifying to go. Here comes Stuart White, absolutely throwing it into the S's. He is on business. He's meaning business here. Yeah, we go full taps now as we head down to the hangar. You can see he's just going to lift a little bit, touch the brakes, and now flat out towards the hairpin. It's going to be a popular overtaking spot for the 5 hours of Scribante. Takes a hard right now. You've got to not too early on the power. Oh, we do have the Toyota now that's compromised his racing line, going through the sweep. Going to be onto the throttle now, and then towards that important braking spot for Dunlop. The final corner, long right turn. Don't get on the power too early. Find your spot, and then give it everything you've got to the finish line. Right, let's have a look. What time we got? 56.337 last time out.
And
traffic perhaps in this time out.
56.8, so that caught him out quite a bit there. Michael Stephen, though, in a second place. You got Bradley Liebenberg. Remember, Paul Hill's car went and spun out. That is the Promogen Audi. He's managed to put it in third place, currently with a 57.7. So he is on the back, trying to catch up to Stuart White, getting held up in a little bit of traffic at the moment. But ideally, he wants to be on the back of that Lamborghini. Yeah,
and of course, we mustn't forget about Joseph Ellerine, who's in the number 80 MJR Motorsport Audi. And he just did a 59.2, and he's well capable of also getting down even lower. So traffic certainly playing a role with 3 minutes 20. You know, if anybody goes off now, like we saw in the previous sort of session, it's going to compromise any of their laps, and this could be it. So here goes Stuart White once more. It looked like he had a fairly clean lap this time, Steve.
Yeah, it looks like it may have just worked out in his favor. We're just waiting for the lap time as he comes across the line, and last lap was a 58.1. So coming off the gas a little bit there, not going and pushing it all too hard. Maybe the traffic coming into play, or getting told, listen, we got you at the top of the charts. We've got some breathing room. Don't worry about it. No. Now it's just to keep it together. But, well, going and touching the dirt is different.
Yeah, you can't tell a racing driver that. No, but it looks like he's got some free space ahead of him. Michael Stephen is just less than 0.1 second the quickest lap so far. So 0.101 between those two at the moment. We know Charles Visser's time was a 56.3. So this is the cream of the crop in South African motorsport. Unbelievable pace here as Stuart White comes down once again to Dunlop, looking for his braking spot, and then it's going to be flat on the taps going into the long straight. They're talking about 260, 270 k's per hour down the main straight with the wind behind.
And on the gas, will he be able to do it? Just waiting for that update. Oh, the anticipation's killing me. 56.6. So just wasn't able to get that little bit more underneath his belt, but it still opened up a bit of spacing to Michael Stephen. Michael Stephen's last lap time was a 56.4 for 2, and then his best lap time was a 56.438. So unfortunately, Michael Stephen's running out of time here if he really wants to give it one shot. Or will Charles Visser be smiling in the pits going, you couldn't get me?
Yeah. Just to show you how challenging this is, I mean, we talked about that Toyota, the Lexus body, the number 88. I mean, he's lapping in the 117s. Oh, what have we got here? Is this the Marius Jackson Audi?
That is. That's Bradley Liebenberg.
No. This is the
Joseph Ellerine.
Joseph Ellerine. This is now through Hanger. It's a very fast part of the track. You can see them taking full taps here as they take a left.
Unfortunately, that means...
And we just spoke about this.
Yep.
This is going to compromise the likes of Bradley Liebenberg, but they'll be very pleased with where they find themselves. Looks like he's got it going, though.
Going through the restart process, but I can tell you as a driver, this is where you come off the gas, you get it into the pits, and you call it a day. It's done. Yeah,
there's going to be double waved yellows there. The drivers are going to have to slow coming into this corner. There goes Michael Stephen through in the Nova. There goes that Lexus body. There goes Stuart White. No, they know it's done now. The session will be over, and he got it going.
He got it going. So if you're lucky, you may be able to get a lap in, but I think most drivers have conceded at this point and decided that it is done and dusted. They will be letting driver threes take across. Not many of our drivers in Class A and Class B are 3 drivers. Most of them are 2. So expect to see a little bit less, but we will see the BBR racing, the BBR Porsche go out on circuit. We will see the 511 go out on circuit, the Norma Nova of the Just for Sleep. So we will see the GNH and the Just for Sleep out on the track going one more time. And we will also see that Lexus going out on the track to get one more shot for their drivers.
All right, so we got the MJR Motorsport Audi back into the pits. That's good news for them. So their 2 sessions are done now, so they'll be pleased with the 4th place, although they'll be concerned about how things have panned out there for them.
I've just heard them revving the engine up, so just going...
Just outside our commentary booth here, so that sounds all right. So Stuart White there, 56.3. Just to remind you, that's a 56.332. 56.337 for Stuart White. Charles Visser, 56.332 was his time. It's Michael Stephen, a 56.438.
And that's Stuart
Amazing.
White's personal best in the car this entire weekend, because in free practice 5 he did a 56.9. So he's bettered his time. He's got his personal best underneath his belt, and let's see how that's going to play out come the end of the sessions when we calculate the averages. Has it been enough to put themselves on the top spot, or will the consistency between Michael Stephen and Charles Visser, now you're going to have Nick Adcock getting behind the wheel. If he can get a 56.4 or a 56.3, that can put them right in pole position.
So this is interesting now, because we, just fast forwarding to tomorrow, we would be 1 hour into the race. Heading up towards 5 o'clock now, so we would be 1 hour into the race. This is the kind of conditions we can expect tomorrow, obviously weather related. But gives you an idea about the changing conditions out there. You can see the floodlights are starting to come on, and it gets dark very quickly over the next 20 minutes.
That is the Nike Audi that was a little bit broken earlier.
So they managed to get back. They crashed out in the final free practice. Right, speak us through it there, Steve.
So we've got Stuart White and Luteka out at the top of the chart, so they are currently holding pole position. Michael Stephen and Charles Visser for the Just for Sleep have gone out. Nick Adcock will be heading out for his final run. Bradley Liebenberg and Paul Hill, they are currently in 3rd place. Both drivers have gone out and holding it just in front of the MJR Motorsport of Marius Jackson and Joseph Ellery. Both cars running into some odd runs. And then we've got Hein Lattergaan, Henk Lattergaan with Tavares now jumping behind the wheel. That is our BBR.
But look at intense. Look at intense position. It's the Slingshot 2.0. Now, Steve Clark did not go out that time round, so we'll see that perhaps change.
Yes, he will have one more shot at it. So Mike McLaughlin's been out. They've taken a gap just to go and make sure everything's okay. Give it one final time. I think it's a smarter move.
I think it is.
You give yourself that room.
You've taken the risk now with the weather. It looks like it might hold out. You can see it coming in from the city side. We're expecting the rain to come from the city centre towards us. Remember, although we won't be with you in live streaming, we do have a mandatory night practice night, which could be in the wet, which the drivers would appreciate. They'd like the opportunity to do that, yeah.
Okay, so we're finding out a little bit more from an earlier accident in free practice. It was Ryan Nyko, who was in the GT4 Audi R8, and unfortunately went and had his brakes fail and went crashing off into the wall. Loss of brake fluid was the unfortunately to that, and a little bit of a puncture that came into the brake line. But for a 16-year-old, that's a bit of a jarring time. I actually had a chat to him, and he said, well, I hope we can get the car out again because I want to go have a bit of fun. Yeah. Much like our 262 over here, that is getting a bit of work done to the front of it. Yeah,
Harman Bar and Pretorius here in the Pesty Racing Backdraft Roadster. They finished on the podium last time out at Swartkorps, despite going off the track a few times. And so doing a bit of work there. Of course, their qualifying is done and dusted, but they'll be looking to prepare that car now for their mandatory night practice that's coming up a little bit later on. Just to give a shout out for tomorrow, the 5 hours of Scribante, the Aldo Scribante racetrack here in Nelson Mandela Bay, gets underway at 4 o'clock. We're going to be coming to you live from early in the morning with some of the support races. We've got the Super Vs to look out for. In fact, we've got the Super V Race 1 still to come tonight. So just have a look at that horizon though, Steve. You can see, not from this side, this is now the weather moving away from us, but that other shot gave you an idea of what's coming our way, and it's certainly looking a little bit more gloomy there. So the rain is forecast for 9 o'clock this evening at the racetrack. So we'll see if that comes a bit sooner.
You know what it looks like to me? Hot chocolate, blankets, and a movie. That's what it looks like, or an awesome days out of racing.
I don't know about these guys. I'm not sure hot chocolate will fit in these cars, but they are relishing the opportunity to drive these incredible monsters, these incredible machines. And what a privilege it is to have them here in South Africa. You can see the freeway in the background. There's that shot I was talking about from the distance. You see the wind's actually coming down the straight, and in the distance you can see it's a little bit misty out there. So we'll keep an eye on that coming our way.
Okay, so we've got Tavares currently out in the BBR Porsche. and he did a 1:02.9 on his last lap. Nick Adcock in the Norman over the MP02, the Just for Sleep, did a 58.8. Remember, his target is a 56.4 to go for. And let's see how that's going to play out in his favor. A couple of the cars just trying to work up their pace, but it's going to be a proper run to the line for them. And, well, I want to see where the pressure is going to come in for Tavares, as they have to improve. They have to get everything right if they want to still try and fight for the championship. We're in round 3 of 6 rounds here for the championship for the South African Endurance
Right, look at
Series.
that wide shot there. That's the rain that we're expecting coming from the city side. Keep an eye on that horizon. When we start to not see that horizon, which is what we're starting to see there, we can see that's coming directly towards us. So looks like we'll probably get through this session, but it's going to make very interesting for the night mandatory session, and of course the Super V race still to come here on our live YouTube channel. So changing conditions expecting here over the next 20-30 minutes at Aldo Scribante. Round 3 of 6, of course. 3 rounds still to go, Steve. 2 at Kyalami, 1 at East London, with 2 minutes left to go in this final session. And just a few cars on the track. I think if the Slingshot 2.0 is out there, I think they've picked up a little trick here. Wait to see if we can see them out on the track, because they might have missed all that heavy traffic in the second session.
Okay, so we're doing a little bit of working out for our BBR Racing Porsche. They have to get a 1 minute, a very low 1 minute, to be able to finish in the top running order, because Hein was 1.1 seconds, Henk was 1 minute 0.2. So Tavares needs to get a 1 minute if he wants to work this out. Nick Adcock, remember his target lap time is a 56. He's doing currently a 58.0. So 2 seconds off. He's got to find 2 seconds. But where on this track can you find 2 seconds?
Well, he's got some free traffic now ahead of him. He doesn't have much time left there, just over a minute to go. He's catching up to a bit of traffic now, but seems to have made it nicely past it. Let's see if we can see his time now. He should be going through the final corner and down the main straight as we see that imminent rain on the horizon, certainly looking a lot thicker. You can actually see the rain falling out of those clouds, heading in our direction. Right, let's see, Nick Adcock through the finish line. 58.4, right. So not quick enough for pole position. Remember, average time from the 3 drivers. That's not quick enough from Nick, so we'll keep an eye, which means that at the moment it's likely to be the Lamborghini that's going to be on pole position. We'll get confirmation of that.
Yeah, it's doing my quick math, and well, I trust my math as far as I can throw myself. That goes and sits with Into Africa may have done enough, but unfortunately the G&H Transport getting a bit of a look into the back and looking at that V10 saying, let's just make sure everything's okay. A little bit of a shake of the head. Maybe they're opting not to go and send the car out for that one last run. Maurice Jackson also just overlooking the car, the MJR team going and helping mechanic and get that car all sorted out. And they seem to be being in the same pit. Seems to be quite an amazing atmosphere. And you actually can walk past Maurice and he just soaks it in. He's just loving having a GT3 to the right and a GT4 to the left. Beautiful.
Lovely to have them with us here. And of course, race fans here in Nelson Mandela Bay are so looking forward to coming out to the track tomorrow to witness these beasts going around this track. Of course, there's the grid walk as well that's going to be taking place. Purchase a ticket there and you can come and enjoy it. I think there's just a limited amount of those that are left. But stunning viewing spots around the track. And rain or no rain, it's the ideal track to come sit in your car with your flask. Or what do you want? Hot chocolate, you said.
Hot chocolate. You can never go wrong with hot chocolate. It's like a chocolate milkshake. I actually had one where a guy went and said he adds ice to his chocolate milkshake. I've never had my skin curdle like that. But they're opting to just stop. The G&H Transport looks like the engine got a little bit warm. So we'll find out a little bit news later on about that.
Looks like a cup of hot chocolate they've left there on the top there of that engine.
Unfortunately, Nick Adcock was only able to put the best lap time of 58.085, which is 2 seconds off his teammate. So it's going to be all eyes out towards the front. Has the Just for Sleep team done enough to hold pole position, or will they be starting on the outside heading into turn 1 come tomorrow?
Right, we just passed 5 o'clock here in Nelson Mandela Bay. Great to have you tuned in from wherever you are watching our live streaming from around the world. This is the qualifying session done and dusted now for the 5 hours of Aldo Scribante, getting underway at 4 o'clock tomorrow. And we've got some very special things happening here throughout the day. We've got our local races, bikes, saloons, cars, all happening. We've got some of the local guys joining us here as well in studio. Mr. Motormouth himself, Brendan Kelly's going to be joining us and giving us commentary. But there we go. Well done. There's Michael Stephen, Charles Visser, and Nick Adcock. They looks like they're pointing number 1 there.
They seem to be happy with that. Maybe the calculations in the pits going and preemptively getting ahead of it, saying we may have just done enough. We're waiting for our confirmation to come up on screen. I can tell you I'm chomping at the bit here. I want to see how close my math is. But as you said, some local racing coming in, some racing all the way from Johannesburg coming down to Aldo Scribante. The drivers also getting to experience it for the very first time. I'm going to be experiencing some of the local talent for the very first time.
Here's one of them coming out.
Oh man, it's absolutely amazing.
Did we just see a Golf overtake a Porsche there in the pits?
Well, they're both VWs, so it's fine. But I've got to say, the one thing about everyone here at Quebec is you can walk up to them and say, hey, you mind if I take a look at your car? They will more than happy open the door, let you sit in the vehicles and walk you through it. So honestly, for any of the crowd, you have to come experience it here in the pits.
Yeah, just quickly, you can see across the track there, you can see someone's, hearing about the racing, watching this, and then popped into the track. And look, they're parking across from the pits here, and that's how exciting close. You can see some fans here, spectators walking through the pits, meeting the drivers, looking at the cars. It's probably one of the racetracks in South Africa that you get the most, or the closest to the action as well.
We have to add, though, you can also park your car on the side of the circuit and tune in your radio to also be a part of it, so much like the old drive-ins. But we also had some very lucky fans a little bit earlier today. Gareth, where you went and gave away the 5 of the grid walk tickets, also with a +1.
Yep.
We're going to be seeing them walking around these cars, but also with the limited purchase of tickets for grid walks, it's not to be missed.
Can you imagine walking down the grid there with a Porsche, a Lamborghini, a Nova, a Merc? Actually, speaking of the Merc,
well, we're going to have to get some work. We're going to have to get some work there, but it didn't go out.
Didn't go out. So what does this mean? We'll see if we can get Nadine, the team, to find out what's happened at the Merc. The Stradali Motorsport, Arnold Neveling, of course, went out in the first session, then got stuck on the main straight, and Charles Arangis did not come out. And just to remind you, they did not participate in the first 2 rounds. Charles Arangis had some surgery done, so this is their first round of the year, so they'll be desperate for some points. Long way to go, of course, in the season, with 4 rounds, including tomorrow, still to come. So they're still very much our defending champions.
We got a beetle! We got a beetle! That's part of our local racing in the Retro Series that's going to be having a bit of fun. And honestly, I love to see it. I really love to see it. As you said, Motormouth going to be here. A crowd favorite is going to be giving us a bit of history.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a proper run. But we've got the Liquid Molly Supervs getting themselves ready.
Just quickly looking across there, you can see Aldo Scribante's Lamborghini that's there. So don't forget about him. He's going to be in the mix there he was 4th fastest, I think, after the opening session. So he's certainly going to be in contention there as well. So give us a chance just to figure out what's actually happening. We're going to hear from our officials in a moment, but let's turn our attention now to this exciting inclusion to the SAES this season. Now full time with the series, it's our Super Vs that are out on track, and race 1 to come.
Going to be an incredible one. Open wheels, I've got to say, this is my favorite form of racing. Well, endurance is my top one, but for sprint racing, nothing is better than having exposed wheels. Your head is quite exposed to all the conditions that could go on. So when it's raining and you stopped on the grid, you enjoy a nice little bath. Your shower once a month. But honestly, this is going to be incredible stuff. And for a lot of our drivers, like Herman Kricker, Yanni Gerber, who's currently just gone out and passed, it's a very first time at Aldo Scribante. And the first thing they said to me was they cannot believe this little hidden gem that's waiting and want to keep coming back once again, which is always just great.
Yeah, and chatting to some of the drivers, they actually drove down together with all their trailers, and they said they had so much fun. People were asking about the series, and it felt like a good old national series, driving my car on the trailer around to the next round. Absolutely brilliant.
Not just loading it into a truck and get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is race 1 of 3 this weekend. Just to say, race 2 for local fans comes up tomorrow at around 20 to 12, and race 3 will be at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a quick turnaround then because, of course, the 5 hours of Scribante getting underway at 4 o'clock. Some heavy clouds about. Of course, we are expecting some rain this evening, and these cars will not take too well to the rain.
You got semi-slick tires, so you can get rid of some of the wet, but unfortunately for like our that is DJ Boyson, who is making his way around. He's on full set slicks, but they're going to be stopping on a staggered grid, so Lucian Ranchanda will be starting out in first place, Bevan Williams in second place, and then Hayden Elwood in third.
Sorry, man, Steve, I've been telling you guys all day. Can you see the mountain in the background, Steve? Can you see the hill in the background?
I think our producers went and erased it from existence at this point.
So there we go. All right, we're going to chat down to the pits, and after all of the drama of the qualifying for the 5 hours of Scribante, Nadine is down there, and we're going to see what she can find out about some of the drivers and what's been going on.
I'm here with Arnold Nevlin from Stradali Motorsport, car number 1. Arnold, what happened? You guys weren't able to finish qualifying. Can you just give us an update on what's happening with the car?
We suffered from some sort of drivetrain issue. The guys are busy having a look at either his gearbox or from the drive shaft side. So guys are just inspecting, trying to see, hopefully we can get it fixed for tomorrow.
Okay, great. And how will you guys have to start at the back of the grid?
I think more than likely yes, which is also okay, I suppose. Luckily with the GT3, to come through the traffic should be okay. Not ideal for the race, but I think the big priority now is just to try and get the car ready for tomorrow. Hopefully we can. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed for you guys, and wish you all the best.
Thanks, we're going to need it.
Thanks, Arnold. Let's go back to commentary.
Right, thanks Nadine. All right, so it looks like they'll be at the back of the grid there. Long way to go, but we are noticing, and I've been speaking about it all day, is that you don't see the city in the background. There's no city lights, and that's because there is rain there coming our way that's blowing this direction. So we could have a very dramatic race 1 for the Super Vs. The bathtubs are ready to go, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got a couple of them on slicks, and that is not going to play into the favor. So the Super Vs, like Lucian Ranchanda, starting out in pole position with Bevan Williams side by side with him, will be perfectly fine. But the class, our X-Class at the back, with DJ Boersen, who is in the red Formula Volkswagen, with Yannick Herber of the Formula M, is on full set of slicks. So they have no option but to try and drive through it. This is going to be like an ice rink for them if the rain comes down. But lights are going to be going on. Rev it up, 4,500 RPM, and drop a clutch and go. It looks like Bevan Williams trying to get a good start. Didn't get the best of starts. Grant Will also not getting a fantastic start, but Lucian Ranchanda going and accelerating away. And here comes DJ Boersen already putting himself up into the top spot of third place. Now into second on the dive on the inside. Gets it hooked in. Will be eyeing out Lucian Ranchanda. He wants to try and break away from the likes of Yannick Herber and that Formula M. Alan Mayer also in the same type of machinery, that Formula Volkswagen. So let's see how it's all going to play out for them as they go side by side. Bevan dropping down the order, now trying to fight it out. That looks to be possibly Jean-Andre Leroux. And they are not going and giving it an absolute back down. Lucian Ranchanda at this point is in a car that is not as superior as the Formula Volkswagen,
there he goes,
but was putting up an almighty fight, might I add. So well done, and to show what the Super V can do against what was a category that was the top of the class. Our Formula Volkswagens now going and showing off what you can do. Remember, the Formula Volkswagen is part of the X-Class that is an R&D to see whether they can move into using the wishbone suspension, try and make things a little bit more affordable, modernizing a lot of what's there.
Yeah, okay, so if you're wondering how is he so far ahead, well, he's actually in a different class. We've got 4 cars in this race that are in the X class, and they're sort of doing an internal race. They're actually not part of the championship. The Super V championship currently is, who's out in the lead there? So it's Lucian Ranchanda who's in second place. He's actually leading then the race outside of the top 4. You'll see it quickly clear out because the 4 should get ahead and run away with things and start to lap. There's another one of the cars.
That's Yanni Gerber
That's
getting
it.
by, gets around on the inside, not having too much of a fight there. First time around the track has been this weekend, so he's absolutely loving it, but trying to put the hammer down to catch up to a coastal favourite of
lock
DJ
the brakes.
Boersen. And remember, these cars don't have ABS, they don't have traction control. This is all about right foot, left foot, and just a handful of luck as well.
Yeah, so there we can see in the timing now, the number 1 car, that's DJ Bosman. Surprisingly, Lucian is right there, still with him, so it must be tricky conditions. The second of the open class then is in 5th place, Yanni Gerber, and you'll see another 2 as well.
As they come across the line, now you can see how DJ has run away from it, getting himself that little bit further up the road. Lucian Ranchanda will be watching his mirrors very closely as Bevan Williams, a local home favourite up in Johannesburg, has done really well in single-seaters back in Formula Libra. He's done really well in karting and a variety of others, now having his first taste of racing action in the Super V, and is currently loving it. He says you can throw the car in, you can really slide it around
Super
to get
enjoyable.
yourself going. But he will have to keep an eye out as Yanni Gerber is going to try and make some gap to him, close up, and he's pulling along Hayden Elwood as well.
Right, this is race 1 of the weekend for the Super Vs, and it's super exciting to have them with us here. Another lockup, of course, really struggling to get temperature into the tyres, very cool conditions. But that's going to be pretty much the flavour of the weekend for these drivers, so they're going to have to find a way to do it. They were talking about playing with the tyre pressure maybe to see if they could get an improved performance. So it's still learning days here for them. 2 races to come tomorrow, but DJ Bosman comfortably out in the lead at the moment.
He's long since gone. He's checked out and he's really trying to make his way down to or make his way back up to Kyalami, but Neville van der Berg is currently having a huge amount of fun. He keeps locking up the brakes. He's fighting out with Nick van der Westhuizen. The two of them have had their own little rivalry, and even had a bet in the pits of whoever beats each other in the first race owes each other a packet of biltong. So there is a bet on that one. Alan Mayer is also going to try and pull his way through, but a lot of the drivers now starting to have the conditions changing. You say it's getting darker and darker, and you got to remember a lot of these helmets that the guys have got are tinted visors. So what we see currently now, they're seeing a little bit less. You walk into a dark room with occasional light coming up. That is the likes of Annette Johnson, who's making her way around. Brand spanking new car, first time out at the racetrack, and also her second ever race.
Amazing.
Full stop. Having a huge amount of fun, but it's also a car that is familiar with the coast because it originated in Cape Town.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You chat to the drivers and you hear the story of how they got involved and what they're trying, but look at the conditions down the back. Remember I talked about that hill, so we could see the rain actually sweeping past and actually missing the track, so we'll keep an eye on that, but certainly it's raining in the city. Might not rain here out at the track.
This is a battle for first place of the Super V. Lucian Ranchanda has now got the likes of Bevan Williams right on the back of him. Yanni Gerber is going to try and pressurize as much as possible. So if Bevan Williams wants to be a little bit smart here, he can allow Yanni Gerber to get past
him, yeah.
Pull him along and then go and
Not in the same
past
class.
Lucian.
Yeah, of course, Yanni Gerber there in 4th place. He's not racing the 2 in front of him. He'd love to get past the guy that he's racing for. You'll see him coming at the bottom of the screen. There he goes. He's long gone. So it's an intriguing race here from Lucian and Bevan as to who's going to pick up the Super V. Just 10 laps, of course, this race. So it's not a lot of opportunity, and conditions could be changing quite quickly and quite soon. What's surprising me, though, is Alan Mayer and Herman Krikker, who are in much faster cars, just struggling with the conditions to actually get past these faster Super Vs.
Oh, Yanni Gerber's not having an easy time as well because Bevan Williams is going and sweeping across the nose. He's trying to find that inside line. He's going to follow in tow now. Now, Bevan Williams holds quite a few championships in his racing career. Lucian Ranchanda holds championships in single-seater racing only. Now trying to go side by side into turn 1, lays on the brakes. Is he going to be able to get it all hooked in? And does so. So Bevan Williams has now taken first place of the Super Vs. And Lucian Ranchanda is going to have to play a little bit of follow the leader. Slipstream effect coming into play. Yanni Gerber is going to be thinking, how can he get past the likes of Lucian Ranchanda? This is going to be a monumental battle of notes. I wonder if Yanni Gerber is actually just backing off now. He sees DJ Boersen's gone, not worrying about it, but he's enjoying the entertainment right in front of him.
He's got the best view in the house of this incredible race, and it doesn't look like Lucian's giving up either. You know, we're finding the drivers are just having to find the right breaking points on the track to find out how their cars are best performing as we sort of pass the halfway point of this 10-lap race. So Lucian looks like he's still very much there, finding the best setup in the car, best braking spots where he can really put the power down. So don't count him out just yet.
I do want to also say Bevan Williams has got a motor that's recently been built, and the first time out he went and drove it in anger, saying, well, if it's going to break, let's do it properly. And so far it's all holding well, much to Lucian Ranchanda's aggravation at this point.
Yeah, also just to mention that we popped down to chat to Lucian earlier on, and he actually didn't take part in the one of the sessions earlier because he had a broken part and went down to Goldwagen in town to get a part to actually compete here. So brilliant story.
Yeah, broke the first fuel pump, put a new one on, got a little bit too excited, broke one of the terminals off on a brand spanking new fuel pump, and out racing once again. But he is really wringing the neck of the car, just trying to dial it in.
But where's Yannick Herber? He's completely dropped off. So I wonder if he's got a problem in the car. He's still going a bit slower down the main straight. But this is where the battle is. This is for the victory in Super V. There's a little look on the inside. So just letting me know that he's there, but this probably is going to be the best opportunity. Finds the best line out of the corner. He looks really close now. And we want our back markers here. Could they play a little role as Lucian dives on the inside? He weaves. No.
He's keeping nice and tight. Going to go right underneath the rear wing. Going to put his nose into turn one. Late on the brakes, but Bevan goes right across it, saying no thank you. And now we've got on it, who's stuck on the outside. Will move gently out of the way. Not too much of a problem there.
Compromised down the racing line. It'll give Lucian a chance maybe to close it up, because the hairpin is another opportunity for overtaking if he can be brave on the brakes.
Our only lady racing in the Super Vs in a brand spanking new car. We have got Bevan Williams. This is his first race in a Super V. And you got Lucian Ranchanda, who's running second in the championship, who's desperate for points to be ahead of Jean-Ray Leroux, who's a little bit further down in the order. And let's see if he will be able to just gain a little bit of time. But Bevan is not going to let Lucian run away from this one.
So how many times has Bevan raced in this car?
Once. This has been it. How many times has that engine gone out? This is its very first race.
Amazing.
And well, oh no, that's Herman Kricker. That is one of our Class X cars. That is the Formula M. The speeds RMO 8, unfortunately, coming to a stop. And Herman Kricker, yeah, with the little Suzuki engine, unfortunately, parked off on the side. Yellow flags will be waving. But that means no overtaking, unfortunately, in that little sector.
There it is, yeah. So that's between the S's and then going into the hangar before going to the hairpin there. So that's a fast part of the track. No overtaking. So we're going to keep a close eye there on the racing action. So not long to go now before we crown the winner of our first of 3 races here at the Super V. DJ Boyson got long out in front. And again, changing conditions, and there we go, look at that, and it's...
the city's back.
The city's back, yeah. You can see lights now, you see, so the rain actually could be passing the track on the side.
2 laps to go.
2 laps to go.
So DJ Boyson has checked out from the fight. Bevan Williams has still got the fight with Lucian Ranchanda, and Yannick Herber, unfortunately, dropping way back. He's now in 4th position with Alan Mayer closing down on him. 2 rivals are going to be having a bit of fun there. Maybe Yannick Herber running into a bit of a problem. That allowed Alan to get a little bit closer. We also have Frankos Jacobs, who is out on the track chasing down and trying to improve his time. Side by side, Lucian Ranchanda putting it up on the inside, and it looks like he may have gotten it past Bevan Williams. That is Grant Will that's coming by now in his Willari.
Yeah, so we're trying to keep an eye on the front. There's the car that's off the track at the moment, but not having an effect on the race victory. These are some of our vehicles in the Super V, a little bit further back in the field, having a little dice there. We can see the car's really struggling for traction, really just trying to figure out, man, I want to bring this back safely, not to fight too much with just over a lap to go.
Now Lucian Ranchanda going and getting past, and it looks like race red flagged.
Okay.
So with that being said, they will go back 1 lap.
Okay, so we're going to wait to see how this plays out here. So red flags and bring to the end of the race with just 1.5 laps to go. We're not going to resume this race, surely. And Cars actually stopping out on the grid. So
as per the order, they have to stop on the right-hand side in single file out on the circuit. And they leave the left-hand side open just in case someone didn't quite see the red flag. They will get instructions from race control saying you either move forward or return back to pits. Herman Krecker, unfortunately, though, you can see just not so happy about it. And unfortunately, gutting for that Formula M Speeds RMO 8, first time out here at Aldo Scribante.
Yeah, they spend so much time, you know, in the pits, talking, getting excited, watching the endurance racing, and then to go out there and then to come up short and have a problem like this, it's so disheartening. You know, you just want to get back and sort it out quickly because you want to be in contention for 2 big races to come.
So going and croaking right at the end, though.
Yeah, so this was just coming out of the S's that he would have then perhaps lost power. Yeah, we can see. So he's just...
Oh, something broke underneath it. That something has broken under that. Is that drivetrain that might have let go?
Well, it looks like it could be. It could be the actual body of the car that's scraping the ground. So he might have actually lost some suspension, or one of these arms could have broken, or something like that. Because it looks like the back right of the car might be sitting a bit lower.
Yeah, it was just grinding itself to pieces. Unfortunately, that is going to be a very long night in the pits.
So this means we've got Bevan Williams, who's going to pick up the victory now. And Lucian Ramchanda is going to say, no, just go back one more lap, please. How did I miss this one out?
No, go forward one lap.
Go forward lap. Sorry, go forward one lap. So he's going to then end up in second position. It's going to be Yanni Gerber then in second place in the open class with Alan Meyer. And
Francois Jacobs going and taking his first ever podium. So our actor has now become the race driver. And well done to him. So Jacobs is going to be smiling ear to ear when you go and have a chat to him saying, hey, well done, you got third place.
Sure, that's fantastic. And great to see the rest of the drivers, Henriette Johnson there, who's learning, experiencing this. I mean, can you look at the conditions? I mean, it's night time. These cars aren't built for this. They've got no lights on them. And so really tricky conditions. You can hear the cars coming through. They're actually going to be stopping next to us. We're going to hope to see if we can just quickly chat to them. So I'm going to leave you for a moment, Steve, and see if I can go and quickly chat to the drivers.
It's going to be incredible stuff. So much to come this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say come and enjoy not only with our live streams, but also we will be going out on Supersport Variety Channel 208. But we've also got tickets here on sale for the track, so you're more than welcome to come to Aldo Scribante. I actually want you guys to come through and be part of this amazing celebration as we honor the late Celso Scribante, and we will be having 5 hours of racing, adrenaline fueled the whole way. You get to hear the screaming V10s of the stunning Lamborghinis, as we can see Aldo Scribante, that is his car, going and making a guest appearance in the remembrance of Celso Scribante. So it's really, really fantastic to have them out here. Also, things to look out for. We've got our local motorcycle racing right here at Aldo Scribante for the SAES 5 hours. And we've got the EP regional saloons that will be heading out. Our CBR 150, Junior 250 and 150 Clubmans. Our Coastal Challenge, the AMSC Retro Class and Open Tops will be heading out onto the track. We will see our Liqui Moly Super Vs come out onto the track once again. They've got 2 races tomorrow, and we do have our SAES 5 hours of Aldo Scribante. We did see that qualifying a little bit earlier, and it's going to be right into the early evening, so keep an eye on that. We're due to finish at about 9 o'clock tomorrow evening, which is going to be the first time in the championship for 2024 that we're going from day to night, and we're expecting to do a Bathurst start a little bit later in the championship, and that's from nighttime to daytime. So really looking forward to that a little bit later on. But being round 3, the championship is still open cards at this point amongst all the classes, from our Class A to our V8 Roadsters. They are going to be heading out our backdraft cars that are on a absolute form at the moment, but we've had a few cars with a couple of niggles, such as Herman Kricker, who's getting towed off at the moment by our flatbed, going and unfortunately having a bit of a breakdown. They will be frantically looking at the car. Taking a look back at our Super V Club Championship, that we're going to see the likes of Jean-Ray Leroux, who did not go out for that race. So Lucian Ranchanda will go and pivot himself into the top of the championship once again. And we are just awaiting to have a interview down below. So.
Right, I've got DJ Borsman here after the opening round. DJ, I mean, fantastic. Enjoying conditions trying for you guys?
Hi, yes. Yeah, it's the first time actually we running here with this car. So we're very happy. I was just wondering about the weather, but it's quite luckily it stayed on. It was just quite dark outside, but there was, you can see more of the corner, so it was all right. So.
Yeah, I was just thinking there's no lights on these cars, so the conditions are changing quite quickly for you.
Yes.
So what's it like going these incredible cars around Aldo Scribante?
No, it's incredible. Like I said, I mean, these cars are as Reynolds, they built in Germany. So, I mean, we did a quick lap in qualifying a 103. So, I mean, we're up there. So, for a baby car against those big guns, I mean, it's not bad. So,
yeah,
but we're enjoying it. So
yeah, it did seem like you struggled to get a bit of heat into the tires as well at first. So, very tiptoeing around the track.
Yes, especially in this condition with the weather, and obviously it's so dark and it's cold, and luckily there was no such wind, so that helped us a little bit. So
yeah, we're not going to talk too much about tomorrow's weather, but excited to be part of the national series and race 2 and 3 to come.
Yes, for sure. And we will see you guys again in Kailami. So. We're going to make a journey of this, so it's very nice.
Well, all the best for tomorrow, all right.
Thank you so much.
Yannick, I'm going to ask you just to come and join me quickly. Sickled a little bit there to stay with him. There was a bit of a nice fight going in front of you, though.
Yeah, I was following them. There was something wrong at the top end of the car. Not quite sure what it was. So I kept up with the Super Vs, just trying to stay out of their wake. I was waiting for them to collect each other, so tried to switch off the car and switch it on again while I was driving, and then it went a bit better, and yeah.
Okay.
All good.
All good, yeah. What's it like? You've driven around some of these tracks around South Africa, driving this one in these kind of conditions?
Definitely one of the top ones. Definitely. I love it. Banked corners, fast flowing. It's amazing, really.
Okay. So what would be a better condition? Maybe sun tomorrow, any chance?
It's a very hot morning with some very cold cloud cover, no rain. That'll be perfect conditions. Tomorrow morning, 3 o'clock, please.
Yeah, listen, it seems like quite a party atmosphere there at the Super V's, pits and stuff.
Right.
It's quite a family atmosphere, eh?
Definitely. We're all together. We all drove down from all over the country. It was great. Great atmosphere, everyone helping each other. So having loads of fun.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll see you out tomorrow, race 2 and race 3. Huh?
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir. Right, we've got Bevan with us. There we go, Bevan. Wow. Now, okay, so we've just watched the most incredible race. Let's just clarify a few things. Is this your first race in the Super V?
Yeah, you know what, we had a bad start, but jumped out of first. You know, inexperienced, I haven't driven the car before.
Yeah.
Brilliant car to drive, easy to drive, very, they're all evenly matched, as you guys can see. Unlucky the last lap, my throttle got stuck. And yeah, what can I say?
So did you bring out the red flag and then inherit the victory, or what has happened?
I don't know. If there was a red flag and we won.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I didn't even know.
Well, we have you on the timing sheet as winning the race, so we'll get confirmation of that. But nonetheless, what a great experience, eh?
Oh, no, brilliant. You know, thanks to Uncle Andre, phoned me a week and a half ago to say, come and race with us in PE. We got in the car today, first day. Brilliant car. Brilliant car. Straight away on pace.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere with the people, a bunch of nice guys. Like, it's brilliant. Thank you.
And just quickly, that dice that you had with Lucian there, I mean, that looked really fun.
Yeah, no, that was brilliant. You know, it was clean racing. I went around the outside of him in turn 1. He gave me space. I gave him space.
Yeah.
That's the way racing is supposed to be, and that was brilliant.
All right, we can't wait to see what's going to play out tomorrow. So all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right, there we go. So there we go. We get confirmation of a race victory, perhaps, because there's celebrating happening in the background, So we'll get confirmation of that. All right, I think that's it from our guys that we've got here at Super V. All right, so that was race 1. Have we got a couple more guys joining us? Is Lucian here with us? There we go, Lucian. Right, we've got Lucian here, who was... have you got confirmation yet about the result, yeah?
No, not yet. I've heard it for the first time now, but Yeah, it is what it is.
There's some great little dice there with the young rookie there. You enjoying it, eh?
Yeah, he's actually pretty quick this weekend. I don't think any of us expected him to be this quick. But yeah, it was a good old dice with him.
Yeah, well, I think it shows that this kind of racing is accessible to anyone who has an interest, eh?
Yeah, I mean, anyone, whether you've been involved in motorsport or haven't, you can jump in the car and go out and have a good old time.
Yeah, so just quickly remind everybody, you've had some problems with your car. Had to send someone to town to go and find from a local store perhaps a part or something. You managed to pull it through.
Yeah, we managed to get it ready literally just as the guys were going out. I just want to say a big thanks to my dad for going all the way to PE and helping me to get the car sorted so we could get out for race one.
Yeah, amazing. We mentioned a bit earlier, quite a family atmosphere, everybody helping each other out, and that's what it's all about. This is why we want it to be more accessible to fans and family and friends.
No, exactly. Especially when you come away on these away races. Yeah. I mean, it's a long way away from home, so your competitors are your family.
Yeah, and just quickly, you mentioned the long trip. Chatting to the guys, talking about pulling your cars on your trailer and coming down here, people along the road asking questions. It felt like a bit of a circus arriving in town, eh?
Yeah, anywhere you stop, there's always a crowd around the car, guys taking pictures. But it's good. It's good for the sport.
Okay. Well, it's unconfirmed. It looks like second place for this one, but we look forward to race 2 and 3 tomorrow. Perfect. Yeah. All the best. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. We're going to go back to Steve in the commentary. What a day. What a race we've had. Of course, 2 to come tomorrow. The race 3 will be just before the 5 hours of Aldo Scribante. So looking forward to that. Still to come on our live streaming. And, of course, live on Supersport tomorrow afternoon. Right, back to you, Steve, in the commentary booth.
So anticipation is definitely a thing there, trying to see what the results, but we do have a confirmation of those results. So for everyone that will be listening in on it, and I know our drivers will be keen-eyed on what's happening, it will be DJ Boyerson taking the win for our Class X in the Formula Volkswagen, and Yannick Herber will be taking second place of our Class X. But confirmation of the Super Vs, Bevan Williams taking his debut win for the Liqui Moly Super Vs. Lucian Ranchanda scoring second place, to going and walking home with a few points in the bag for his championship. So it's going to be an incredible time. What's going to happen tomorrow? We'll find out. Going further down, though, fifth place, we've got Alan Mayer, who will be finishing up third in his class, and the likes of Francois Jacobs taking his first ever third place first time on the podium ever, and he's going to be smiling ear to ear on that one. Some new names to the world of Liqui Moly Super Vs. Lots to happen come tomorrow. A live broadcast will be going out at 9 o'clock. And don't miss it, because we have got the locals racing motorcycles around here. We will be having Mr. Motormouth himself going and joining in the commentary box, giving you all the breakdowns, all the action, all the points, and what's happening out on track. We do have our EP regional saloons. We have our CBR 150 juniors, our 250 and 150 clubmans, our coastal challenge, our AMs SC Retro Class and Open Tops that will be heading out onto the circuit. As Gareth Burley-Winton said, we will have our Liqui Moly Super Vs going out once again before we kick off our 5 hours of Aldo Scribante for the third round of the SAES. Exciting times, and the weather looking rather brisk.
Quite incredible day, and look, we're just warming up. Tomorrow is the big one. Of course, we're going to be nice and early. We've got our live stream, of course, from around 9 o'clock. We go live on Supersport just after 3. And, I think this is just a little taste of what's to come. Just being outside there, really chilly. Conditions are changing quite quickly. And just to remind you, tomorrow, this time, we're only an hour and a half into 5 hours of endurance racing. So we are in for the most incredible race. It never ceases to amaze. We've got, of course, a celebration of Celso Scribante as well tomorrow. So if you're in the area, you've got to come pop in and be part of it. Right, that's it from me. And Steve, thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you are watching from around the world, join us tomorrow morning. We're here in Nelson Mandela Bay. It's round 3 of 6 for the South African Endurance Series. God bless.